Ethan met him at a coffee shop on a random Wednesday, the kind of weekday that's supposed to feel forgettable. The guy walked in like he had time. No rushing, no frantic phone scroll, no sorry I'm late energy. His name was Lucas, and Ethan had known him vaguely for years. Same age, same city, similar industry. But Lucas carried himself like the rules were different for him. Ethan noticed the small things first. Lucas ordered without checking prices. He tipped like it didn't hurt. He talked slowly, like he wasn't selling anything, not even himself. Ethan hated how quickly his brain formed the thought, he's successful. Not he seems stable, not he seems content. Successful, the biggest, laziest label. Because the second thought arrived right after. Why him? Ethan didn't say it out loud, but it sat under the conversation like a silent accusation. Same city, same opportunities, same internet, same economy, so why did Lucas feel like a different league? Lucas talked about his week like it was designed, not packed, designed. There was work, but also rest, workouts, reading, and time with family. Ethan's week, by comparison, felt like a spilled box of puzzle pieces. Ethan tried to locate the obvious difference. Money. Maybe Lucas just earned more? But even that didn't fully explain the vibe. Plenty of high earners looked stressed. Lucas looked sturdy. On the walk home, Ethan kept replaying the encounter. The question turned into something sharper than jealousy. What does success actually come from? The problem with success is that it looks like one thing from far away, but up close, it's usually a bunch of boring decisions stacked for years. Ethan always assumed success was mostly talent and hard work, the standard story. Put in effort, be smart, get rewarded. But that story didn't match reality. Ethan knew talented people who were stuck. He knew grinders who were broke. And he knew Lucas, who didn't look like he was grinding at all. So Ethan decided to do something unusual. He stopped asking, what does he do? And started asking, what does he refuse to do? Because success isn't just actions, it's also boundaries. It's the no's you protect when everyone else is saying yes. A week later, Ethan met Lucas again, this time for lunch. Ethan came prepared, not with jealousy, but with curiosity. You always seemed calm, like you're not stressed about money or time. How? Lucas laughed, not in a smug way, more like he'd heard this question in different costumes his whole life. I'm stressed, he said. I just don't negotiate with chaos anymore. That sentence hit Ethan. Negotiate with chaos. Ethan realized he did daily, reacting, patching, improvising, praying nothing broke. Lucas explained it with a simple idea. Most people live inside their defaults. I don't. I build defaults on purpose. Defaults are the decisions you make without deciding, the subscriptions that renew, the lifestyle that creeps, the habits that happen because they're easy. Lucas said his success started with one skill, designing systems that work on bad days, not good days. Ethan thought about how most of his goals relied on him being motivated, and motivation was the most unreliable employee he'd ever had. Lucas didn't have superhuman discipline. He had automation. Bills paid automatically, savings invested automatically, calendar blocked automatically. Ethan realized the calm wasn't personality, it was architecture. Then Lucas said something Ethan didn't expect. Success is mostly subtraction. People think I'm winning because I add things, a better job, better income, better habits, but the real wins were what I removed. He removed high-interest debt first, not because debt is morally bad, but because debt steals future choices. It makes your life narrow. He removed fixed costs that didn't buy real happiness, monthly payments that trapped him into earning a certain amount forever. He removed the need to impress. That one was the hardest, he said, because ego feels like protection until you realize it's expensive armor. Ethan felt a sting because that one landed. Half his spending wasn't for comfort, it was for avoiding a feeling behind, feeling small, feeling judged. Lucas described a rule he lived by. If I wouldn't buy it twice, I don't buy it once. It sounded extreme, but the logic was clean. A thing is worth it only if it's worth re-choosing after the novelty fades. Ethan asked about work. Are you just naturally better? He said, half joking. Lucas shook his head. I'm just willing to be bad longer than most people are. That was the second pillar, tolerance for being a beginner. Lucas had started side projects, learned skills, shipped things publicly, failed in visible ways, and didn't treat that as humiliation. Ethan realized he avoided many opportunities because he wanted to look competent immediately. He'd rather do nothing than do something poorly in front of people.
Lucas's success came from reps, not inspiration, repetitions, the unglamorous volume of trying. Then Lucas talked about time like it was money. He said most people spend time the way they spend loose change, thoughtlessly, because each moment feels small. He had a time budget like a financial budget, a cap on meetings, a cap on social media, a cap on obligations that didn't move his life forward. Ethan knew he'd never done that. His time was whatever other people needed it to be. That's not generosity, that's drift. Lucas said he protected mornings like they were prime real estate. Deep work first, noise later. He treated focus like a resource, not a personality trait. Ethan started seeing the pattern. Lucas didn't rely on willpower, he relied on environment. He removed friction from the right behaviors and added friction to the wrong ones. He made good choices easy and bad choices annoying. That's what people call discipline, but it's really just design. Ethan asked about luck because Ethan wanted a loophole, something external to blame or hope for. Lucas didn't deny luck, he just didn't worship it. Luck happens, but you can build a life that catches it. Catching luck meant being visible, shipping work, publishing ideas, meeting people, creating proof that you exist beyond your resume. Ethan had been waiting to be discovered while hiding. He realized how absurd that was. Lucas said something that sounded harsh but true. Most people want the outcome without the identity change. They want the money but not the habits, the respect but not the discomfort that creates it. Ethan asked what identity change Lucas made. Lucas said, "I became someone who keeps promises to himself. Not big promises, small ones. I'll work out for 20 minutes. I'll write 200 words. I'll invest every payday." The size wasn't the point, the consistency was. Ethan realized his self-trust was shaky. He'd promise himself change, then break it, then pretend it didn't matter. That's how confidence quietly dies. Lucas's success was built on self-trust compounding. Every kept promise made the next one easier, like interest but in identity. Lucas also measured success differently. He cared about control more than income, control over his schedule, his health, his spending, his direction. Ethan had been using money as a proxy for control, but the proxy was unreliable. You can earn a lot and still have zero control if your life is built on obligations. Lucas talked about runway, months of life saved as cash and low fixed costs. Runway gave him courage. Courage created opportunities. Opportunities created income. Ethan saw the loop. Success wasn't a straight line, it was a flywheel. Each small improvement made the next one easier. Lucas's flywheel started with subtraction and stability. Ethan's life had started with acceleration and comparison. No wonder the vibe was different. On the way home, Ethan asked the title question again. Why is he successful? The answer wasn't mystical. It was boring and therefore powerful. Lucas was successful because he stopped letting life happen to him by default. He chose his defaults on purpose and then protected them like assets. He was successful because he could be a beginner without panic. He traded ego for reps, and reps beat talent over long timelines. He was successful because he measured time and money in the same currency, freedom. If something cost him freedom, it needed to earn its place. He was successful because he built runway and reduced dependence. That gave him calm. Calm improved decisions. Better decisions improved outcomes. Ethan realized he didn't actually want Lucas's life. He wanted Lucas's foundation, the boring structure underneath the visible results. That night, Ethan wrote a new definition of success. Not more money, not more status. Success was, I can handle surprises without breaking. Then he added a second line, I keep promises to myself. Because without self-trust, any plan is just a fantasy with better formatting. Ethan didn't need a secret strategy. He needed a flywheel. Fewer fixed costs, more runway, deliberate defaults, and small promises kept daily. And he needed one more thing, the most underrated part of success, patience, the willingness to look behind for a while so you can stop feeling behind forever. The next morning, Ethan didn't suddenly become Lucas, but he did something Lucas would recognize. He designed a default, one small automatic transfer into savings set to run without negotiation. It wasn't flashy, it didn't change his life that day, but that's the point. Success rarely announces itself when it begins.
So if you're looking at someone and asking, why is he successful? Don't stare at the results, stare at the defaults, the boundaries, the reps, and the quiet choices you don't see. Because the real secret is that success isn't a trait, it's a structure. and structures can be built, one boring, powerful decision at a time. If this changed how you think about success, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.